It's no news that the internet is flooded with fake information. With every year, the scale of this problem grows, and we gotta face the challenge of effectively filtering information in order to not become a person that would spread out lies with a smile on their face. The thing is, we're just humans. We make mistakes, and no matter how much we try to remain maximally cautious at all times, it's just impossible to be perfect in that aspect. This undeniable fact gave birth to today's topic, because today, we'll look at things that are totally wrong, and yet many of us are convinced otherwise. And just to be clear, I also used to believe in some of those things myself, and I'd even spread it in my videos, so I ain't no saint in this case either. But oh well, it is what it is. Let's get going. Carl Johnson's age. The first myth that we'll talk about says that CJ is 24 years of age. Wherever we look, some articles, fandom, and a lot of places, the information that CJ is 24 years old and that he was born in 1968 is very common. And I don't even know what to say on that one, to be honest, cause where does this info even come from? Like literally, nowhere in the game, nor outside of it, is it said that CJ is 24. All we can say is that CJ does look like he's in his mid-20s, but that's just a guess. At the beginning, I thought that those who say that CJ's 24 must have just taken the age of GTA San Andreas' main character's voice actor's age, so young Melee's, and assumed that CJ is just as old as him. However, that's not correct. See, Melee, at the release of GTA San Andreas, was 25 years old. The only thing that comes to my mind is that people found out that young Melee was gonna be CJ's voice actor before the release, while he was still 24, and they just assumed that CJ is of the same age, and this made up info was repeated for years to come, which resulted in what we deal with today. The beef between Rockstar and MC8, Ryder's betrayal. The next thing that is wrongly popular, which I think is also my fault, for which I apologize, is that Ryder's betrayal was caused by his voice actor, MC8, falling out with Rockstar. Because of that, Rockstar had to quickly come up with a solution, and therefore, they put Ryder into a few missions in which he wasn't initially supposed to be in, just so it looks like he betrayed the families. Thanks to this, MC8 would not need to record any more lines of dialogue, but there are a few major issues with that theory. The first one is that the information about MC8 falling out with Rockstar is one big overinterpretation, which is kind of proved by the fact that Eiht's music was used in GTA 5. Secondly, on the internet, we'll find various sources in which MC8 speaks positively of Rockstar and San Andreas. But what's the most important is that Eiht confirmed himself that he has recorded everything that Rockstar wanted him to. Hello Eiht, you probably won't see this message, but it's worth trying, right? It's something about the old days when you were working at Rockstar Games at GTA San Andreas. Why did they kill you in that game? Because you should have been on the good side with CJ and the homies, not with Big Smoke. You weren't even mentioned in the Green Saber mission, not even after. You didn't even have a dialogue in the mission you died in, Pier 69. I'm wondering, did you just quit? Because I suppose they killed you because you didn't want to do more dialogue lines. And MC8 replied, "That's all they wanted me to do." So as much as the chance that Ryder's character has indeed been changed from a good guy to a bad guy during the development is fairly big, this decision definitely didn't have anything to do with Eiht's alleged beef with Rockstar. Remaster of GTA Vice City Stories. Remaster of GTA Vice City Stories is something that a lot of us are hoping for, and something that seems to be bound to eventually happen, because the original trilogy has already received so-called remasters. GTA Liberty City Stories has also been ported to mobile phones with improved graphics, in which case everything seems to indicate that GTA Vice City Stories is the next step. Despite that, many years passed and nothing is yet known about GTA Vice City Stories Remaster. Weird. After all, it's a true masterpiece and its potential was practically killed since the game has only been released for PlayStation 2 and PSP. So the question is, what on earth is Rockstar doing? And the answer is simple: licenses. And as much as in the case of the remaster of, let's say, GTA Vice City, there was no big issue because Rockstar could simply remove a few songs that they had no longer rights to use. But in GTA Vice City Stories, the situation is more complicated. All that because in VCS, Phil Collins, except the fact that some of his songs were used for the game's radio, he also appears physically in the game, and he's a fully fledged character. So if Rockstar and Take-Two were not willing to spend money to renew the licenses of a few songs for GTA Trilogy Remaster, it's very logical to assume that the same happened to a much more expensive license of Phil Collins. No license, no Phil Collins in a potential remaster. Without Phil Collins, Rockstar would have to delete the thread associated with him, which is quite iconic for the game. Adding to it that releasing a remaster of Vice City Stories would not be as profitable as other things that Rockstar is currently working on. This project has probably never even been seriously considered. Who was the Ballas that killed CJ's mom? As the next thing, we'll discuss the 3 Ballas from one of the alleys in Ganton, who are being accused by some players for being directly responsible for the raid on Grove Street, whose objective was to murder Sweet, and which instead resulted in the death of his mom. All because those morons did not even make sure that Sweet was in the building they were shooting at. The most popular theory revolving around this raid is that Smoke got the 3 Ballas that we see in the introduction movie to carry out this task. This, however, does not make sense because the Ballas, at the point of their conversation about Crash's deal with Smoke, are not even aware that the plan involves killing Sweet, because initially that was Big Smoke's task. At that point, the only people that knew about the planned assassination of Sweet were Smoke, Tenpenny, and Pulaski. Only after the scene in which Tenpenny rushes Smoke to kill Sweet, or else he'll be the one taking the bullet, does he get a grip and organizes a hit on his childhood friend. Okay, but someone could say that actually that does not rule out the possibility that Smoke got those same 3 Balla members from the alley to perform the hit. Yeah, but he might have as well got any Balla members to do it. If we take a closer look actually, the driver and the shooter in the green Saber are just regular Balla skins, the same as those we can casually encounter on the streets. The skins of the Ballas from the alley are quite unique compared to the ones that we can encounter casually. Besides, judging by what them Ballas from the alley are saying, we can tell that they're most likely high-ranked members of the gang. They're well informed and they know the background of the deal between Crash and Big Smoke. I'm sorry, but I don't think that you'd send such important members into the heart of the rival gang, especially without any cover. Let alone that what the Ballas pulled off at Grove Street was utterly incompetent and unprofessional, something you would not expect of highly ranked members of a powerful street gang. To summarize, not only is there no evidence that the Ballas from the alley are the ones we see in the Grove Street raid, but also there's not a single hint that would point at them. The second theory makes a lot more sense, but then again, it lacks any confirmation. The theory claims that Little Weasel, who we will kill in the Los Sepulcros mission, was the Balla that killed CJ's mom, and yes, the skin is correct. Moreover, his dialogue hints that he had a deal with Crash.
Tenpenny set me up!
Everything fits together well. You know, it looks as if Smoke capped out and did not have the guts to kill Sweet himself. Hence, he asked Tenpenny to get some Ballas to do it instead. And then Tenpenny asked Little Weasel for it, who carried out the plan. The number one problem is that, like I said earlier, there's no evidence to prove it. The second issue is that if you want to analyze anything to do with Little Weasel, then the best thing you can do is to stop as soon as possible and not waste your time. The thing is that, as we already discussed in one of my other videos, Rockstar, in his thread, mixed together around 43 different concepts. One that says that he's a traitor of the families, the other is that he's a Balla OG. It's easy to get confused. So in short, we know who is behind the operation which resulted in CJ's mom's death, but we cannot be certain as to who fired the bullet that directly hit the woman. Who is Mike in the Forelli Mafia? On this topic, the GTA Wiki itself writes complete rubbish, but let's first remember that Mike Forelli is a guy killed by Claude on Joey Leone's orders, which takes place in the mission called Mike Lip's Last Lunch. Mike got his organization in debt by borrowing money from Joey, which he then invested in a very intelligent manner. In other words, he squandered it away playing poker. Roman Bellic would be proud. Mike had to do whatever Joey said until he could find a way to pay his debt. Mike, however, didn't seem to be bothered by the fact that he's head to toe in debt. He still was living like a king, eating some pasta at St. Mark's Bistro every day. But at some point, Joey's patience finally ran out. In order to motivate the Forellis to cover the debt made by one of their members, Joey sent Claude to eliminate Mike, to teach his buddies some discipline. Claude successfully fulfills Joey's request by blowing up his car with his fat ass inside. Alright, cool, but what's the problem then? Well, the problem is that the GTA Wiki gets a few facts about Mike very wrong. For example, on the website, we can find the information that Mike is a highly ranked member of the Forelli Mafia in GTA 3. Great, fantastic info, only that it's not confirmed by any means. At best, we could say that the game indeed may suggest that Mike is someone influential. Cause if his death is supposed to motivate the Forellis to pay their debts, then he can't just be any soldier, but a serious figure within the organization's ranks. Additionally, it is said in the design document that Mike is a local businessman, so as we can see, there are valid hints that suggest that Mike is someone important. But if we take a closer look, a few things don't fit here. If Mike is such a boss man, then how come he's head to toe in debt with the son of the Don of the rival mafia family? And all that while having a gambling addiction. It's pretty much as if Roman's suddenly been made a capo. Like, come on, no freaking way. Even Pegorino wouldn't let someone like that become anyone in his laughable pseudo-mafia. Roman, in the blink of an eye, would squander all the profits away on gambling and would not be able to pay up to his bosses. All he could hope for was a bullet in his tiny brain. And here, not only the Forellis would tolerate Mike's weakness to gambling, but also would tolerate his debt, which he has got in a long time ago already, as mentioned by Joey in the cutscene.
The Forelli brothers have owed me money for too long and they need to be taught some respect.
I get that the Forellis were weakened at the time, but having such a degenerate within their ranks, especially as someone highly positioned, would be a disgrazia. But that's not the end of the inconsistencies about Mike on the GTA wiki. See, according to the service, Sonny Forelli, Marco Forelli, and Franco Forelli all apparently are Mike's brothers. That is also not confirmed or suggested anywhere. Okay, maybe that is the case, but without confirmation. This information is just another guess, and it should be noted somewhere. The only thing that could hint that is that usually when we hear Vance brothers or Mendez brothers, it actually was the case that those people were in fact brothers. That doesn't change that it's still far from proving anything. The name of the gang, Forelli Brothers, could just as well be a metaphor, you know, that they are like brothers. Loyal, helpful towards each other and stuff like that. This is often how it is in motorcycle clubs, and the Lost are a great example of that. Take the words said by one of the members killed by Nico, Jason Michaels.
I'm gonna get the brothers and we're gonna kick your fucking ass!
Write in a comment other theories that are fake, but which you feel like are believed by many players. Meanwhile, thank you for watching, take care, and see you soon.